All right, boys, welcome back. So today we're going to be doing a review of the PSA Dagger compact. All right, just so you're aware, there's no magazine, gun's clear, we're empty, and we're safe. Okay. So you may be asking yourself, right, is a PSA Dagger compact a valuable carry weapon in 2026? We'll be getting a review today of that question. All right, so this is actually the first gun that I purchased with my own money, actually. PSA Dagger compact maybe 3 years ago. And I ran it, I carried it for a while, and every time I brought it to the range, it was pretty decent, you know. It's not too bad. Today we're gonna just shoot it, you know, see how accurate it is. We're gonna go over a couple things about it. Mine's did come with a threaded barrel, so you can attach a comp or, you know, a suppressor, whatever you feel like you want to throw on there. So mine's did come with suppressor height sights. Not sure if you can see that. Suppressor height sights, threaded barrel. I did throw a magwell on here, as you can see, but you know, it's all right, man. It's not too bad. For the price, I think I paid like around 300 bucks maybe, which isn't too bad. So if you're not aware, PSA Dagger is a Gen 3 Glock clone. So, you know, it's a clone, but it works, right? So a lot of people shit on Glock, but there's a lot of companies that make clones of Glocks, right? So that kind of tells you what you already need to know, right? Glock kind of set the standard of where polymer frame striker fire pistols, where they are now, right? So, you know, it's kind of where we are. We're just going to run some reviews, just run some rounds through it and see how it works. So as we're clear, the trigger it's not too bad. Take up is pretty long when you get to that wall, and there's still a little bit of take up once you get to that wall. Actually a decent amount of take up, and the reset's not too bad, but that's what you get. It's not terrible, but you know, it's manageable. So we're gonna run some rounds through it and yeah, see how it works. All right, guys, so we're about maybe 5 yards from the target. Don't mind my little ghetto hillbilly setup, but again, PSA Dagger, right? Compact, threaded barrel, suppressor height sights. It is optics cut, but I don't have an optic on it, so you know, we'll see. Let's just run a couple rounds, see how accurate it is, see if we get any malfunctions, which I doubt, and then you know, we'll go from there. All right, 10 rounds. All right. 10 rounds from about 5 yards, and that's the target, all in the A zone, right? First shot was the one directly in the middle, right about there. But you know, that's what we got, right? I mean, it all comes down to fundamentals in the shooter, but you know, PSA Dagger isn't a bad option. Well, let's get some more rounds loaded up and let's keep running it. All right, I got 2 more mags. Let's just run it again, all right? The ergonomics aren't too bad. What I do notice is that my middle finger is rubbing against the trigger guard. So I think after a while of just shooting this gun, I would notice some tearing of my finger. So something just to keep in mind. The Glock, it's there, but it's not as prominent as the Dagger. You know, just something again that I noticed. So yeah, let's just run it again. So not bad. I do tend to ride, my grip is pretty high, so my finger kind of rests on that slide release, which prevents the gun from going into slide lock. It's something I've been doing for a while. I just need to adjust my grip and go from there. But the PSA Dagger, it's not bad. You pay 350 bucks for a Glock Gen 3 clone. The ergonomics aren't terrible. You get suppressor height sights, a threaded barrel, and its optics cut. Can you really beat that? And it runs, as you guys just seen. So yeah, we're just gonna load up again and run some more rounds. So while I'm loading up, I figure, I'll tell you guys. So if you're not aware, Palmetto Stakes, they run a lot of good deals when it comes to these daggers, right? I know they make a dagger compact, micro compact now, which I guess is supposed to be their clone of the Glock 43X. I haven't got my hands on one of those yet, but I've seen some reviews on it, and I heard pretty good things, right? I'm a fan of Palmetto and their products, right? They deliver good products for the price that they offer, so you can't really beat it, right? But a lot of the times you go on their website and they have a deal where you pay $400 to $500 and you get the micro dagger frame, the compact frame, and the large frame dagger, and you can kind of interchange your slides. So you kind of get a 3-for-1 price, which you can't really beat nowadays, right? So one Glock, this is a Gen 5, but one Glock Gen 5 is going to run you $700, right? Opposed to a PSA, you can get, those 3 frames and just interchange those slides, right? So it's just something to keep in mind. And yeah, it's kind of a pretty good deal if you ask me. Definitely something I wouldn't be opposed to buying. All right, let's run it again. See, I'm not a fan of that. I have to completely adjust my grip to release that magazine. So I have to release the grip fully and kind of turn the gun inwards just so I can reach that magazine release and fully press that mag. So let's say gun's clear, right? I do have a magazine in, but again, magazine's clear, we're clear, right? Again, just to engage, this is my natural grip. Engage, I can't fully engage that magazine release until I cant the gun inwards and then press that magazine release. And the magazine release is pretty tough. Like, you have to put a decent amount of pressure to release that mag. So just the little things I noticed. I mean, the gun runs. I got a couple shots out the A zone, but I'm not really shooting for accuracy right now. The gun's accurate. I shot for accuracy and it's pretty good. So there's something to keep in mind. So my honest review, PSA Dagger, is it worth buying? I would say so, yes. For 300 bucks, 350 bucks, you kind of get what you pay for, but the odds outweigh, the positive outweighs the negative, right? So you get suppressor height sights, you get optics cut, you get threaded barrel, right? Opposed to buying a stock Glock, throwing on suppressor height sights, that's another 60, 70 bucks. Switching out the barrel for a threaded barrel, throwing on an optic, which, you'll probably could throw an optic on here, what you will want to do, but it's not bad, honestly. Like I said, this is my first gun. I carried it for a while, and it's not bad. The question is, would you depend your life on it? That's not for me to answer. That's a question for you to answer within yourself. Me personally, as I got into more guns, if I'm asking myself that question, if I could depend my life on a firearm, then I'm not going to carry it, right? There's no doubt in my mind that I can count my life on this gun right here, right? It's gonna run. I know it's gonna run. I have hundreds of rounds through it, and I will eventually get to the thousands of rounds, right? And I know if shit hits the fan, that gun is gonna run. It's gonna get me to where I need to go, and it's gonna protect me and my family. So, PSA Dagger, if you don't got you one, I say go buy one. Why not? 300 bucks. Can't beat that, right? It all comes down to, it's a gun, right? It's gonna run when you pull the trigger for the most part. I will hope so. From what I've seen, I've got a decent amount of rounds through this. It's gonna run, right? It all comes down to training and how much time and effort you put into training with that firearm, right? So no matter if it's a $200 gun, it's a $150 gun you got from a pawn shop, right? If you practice with it, you train with it, it could be useful. It could be a deadly weapon. It is a deadly weapon, but it all comes down to if you're deadly with that weapon, if that makes sense. So, all right, guys, I'm not going to tire you enough. This is my PSA Dagger review. The gun runs. It's definitely worth the 300 bucks. Maybe some on a later video we'll do PSA Dagger versus a Glock review, and you know, if that do well, then maybe we do a PSA Dagger torture test. See how it runs. Go muck it up, bang it around, throw it in dirt, sink it in water, see if it runs. All right, boys, I'm out.